Yo, what's going on, guys? Here at work, wrapping up, and we're hearing that the Phoenix Suns are still getting calls for Chris Paul. Some people believe that the Suns are going to keep him till the trade deadline and that they're interested if they do trade him at the trade deadline, while other teams are calling straight up, outright interested to bring him in on the current contract that he's on. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts right now in the comment section. What do you guys think of Chris Paul and if he's worth it? So this is the report that we're hearing right now, and this is coming from, I believe, Adrian Wojnarowski of ESPN. The Phoenix Suns have received trade interest on Chris Paul since it was reported that he would be waived by the team if he remained on the roster at the end of the month when his $30.8 million contract becomes fully guaranteed. Some teams could have interest in trading for Chris Paul as potential trade deadline candidate, as I mentioned while some teams would like to trade for him outright right now. Adrian Wojnarowski reports that the Los Angeles Clippers, Los Angeles Lakers, New York Knicks, and Golden State Warriors could pursue Paul if he becomes a free agent. We know the San Antonio Spurs are a team interested as they're trying to make a playoff run with Victor Wembanyama now and what could be Greg Popovich's last season. And I think when you look at the situation, obviously the Clippers are like him. So many teams need point guards. And honestly, you want to hear who are the available point guards right now? In free agency, it's Fred VanVleet. Do you want Fred VanVleet? Like, I'm not saying he's bad, but I think right now Chris Paul is a more of an impact-winning player than Fred VanVleet. And then you look at the rest of the guys. D'Angelo Russell. Come on. I'm still taking Chris Paul over D'Angelo Russell, even as a scorer, because at least he's more consistent. Then you look at the rest of the guys available. Mike Conley. I'm not going to say anything bad about Mike Conley, but it's Mike Conley. Mike Conley at this stage of his career isn't the same player he used to be. Let's be honest about that. For me, when I look at this team, the Suns, all right, Chris Paul might just stay there because the other besides Mike Conley, D'Angelo Russell, Fred VanVleet, I think the other guys you could say is maybe Kyle Lowry. I don't think it's that great of a situation due to the fact that I think, look, this is a team that needs to make a move, okay? But at the same time, you're telling me you rather start Cameron Payne. The whole thing is that we heard Chris Paul might be willing to take a pay cut, but he might not be willing to take a pay cut if he's hearing teams are willing to pay him $30 million to be their starting point guard instead of their, staying in Phoenix. So I think it all brings up great points and things to consider as Chris Paul is going to be sought after, regardless of being a free agent, a trade target, either this offseason or at the deadline. I just think people, when this report came out, undervalued Chris Paul. And now you're like, why is he still on the roster? Well, it's because people value Chris Paul, okay? So let me hear your thoughts.